Hi there folks, my name is NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 7th of April 2019 for another action-packed episode, and we're going to get started this week with the X-Plane 11 World, and we're going to get started this week with a aircraft release from the guys at Airfoil Labs. So Airfoil Labs have previously brought a few aircraft, including their rendition of the Cessna 172 in its high detail, and they've moved into the world of an aircraft that's very close to my heart. That is the Beechcraft King Air 350. Now, reading through the rendition of this, it looks like the guys have done an incredibly good job, but look, I'm just going to call it, the way they've described it and written up their description of it just absolutely, it grinds my gears, as a famous cartoon character once said. I'm just going to quote this, straight up going to quote this. It says, part of their read up is, for every simmer, yes, it is a study sim level aircraft. But you don't have to be intimidated by the complexity of systems. You can always just one click from the sky. I'm like, just no. That is the most. It is the worst ever description ever used in flight simulation, and it drives me absolutely insane. That we need to stop using that phrase. We absolutely need to. But anyway, either way, though, I cannot take away from the fact that it is a very highly detailed rendition of the King Air 350. The external model and the interface ability that you have with the model include right down to like a highly detailed rendition of the actual PT6 engine, and it's in its nacelles. Like, that's incredibly well done. So as I said, I'm not faulting the actual modeling of the aircraft or anything like that. The performance looks great. Full internet integration of full PBR texturing, Ultra HD textures with an incredibly accurate 3D model, full implementation of FMOD, 3D FMOD sound system, and a full implementation of custom electrical systems throughout the aircraft in an incredibly highly detailed rendition of it. So as I said, I'm not going to take away from it, but as I said, I just think the description was just a little bit, yeah, anyway. But yeah, as I said, it's just sort of go through here. There's a few things going through on it. As I said, I'm not going to take away from the fact that the aircraft looks incredibly well. It's been developed. It's been in development for a while, and definitely looks like it should. But yeah, it's just, guys, come on, can we not? And it's just talk about it on its own merits. You know, you could have got away with just that. But anyway, moving on. If you are wanting to pick this one up, you can pick this one up either direct from the Airfoil website or Airfoil Labs website, or from the xplane.org store, coming in at $50 or your original equivalent, available now. Oh, you have to excuse me tonight, folks. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather at the moment. I've been sort of on and off fighting a bit of the dreaded lurgy for the last week or so. So you will have to forgive me for my slightly nasally sounding at the moment. Anyway, moving on with other X-Plane 11 releases this week. This time the guys from Aerosoft releasing their rendition of a Manchester Airport for X-Plane 11. So this is a rendition of the airport, and it's got a couple of interesting features actually with this one. So this gives an accurate rendition of the airport as it appeared towards the end of 2018, including full rendition of all the 3D buildings for the airport. All the major airport buildings, includes high-resolution ground textures for the airport and surrounding area, as well as full implementation of HDR night lighting as well. It includes custom static aircrafts, HD vegetation, animated service vehicles, jetways, and marshaled via the SAM plugin. It also includes some additional compatibility as well, so it includes winter textures for those who use the Terra Max add-on for X-Plane 11, which gives you non-summer textures for the globe, but it's also fully compatible with Orbic's True Earth England as well, so Great Britain North, so which is really great to see that it's sort of been integrated with that, which is something that I was a little bit surprised at, but also very, very happy to see was actually integrated, so great for that one. Also compatible with AI traffic, default AI traffic and World Traffic 3 as well. So this one's coming in at a reasonable cost of $20 or your regional equivalent, available now from Aerosoft or your favorite flight sim retailer. Continuing on with X-Plane 11 scenery releases this week, the guys over at UK 2000 have continued their slow but steady progress to bring their catalogue over into the X-Plane 11 world this week with their release of Humberside Extreme. So again, as we've seen with other UK 2000 products, this is a direct port from their previous versions. So it doesn't do any further updates or any modifications to it. Just simply does a straight port over. Now this one is gives you a updated a rendition of the airport as it appears in about 2017, I do believe. So it's getting a bit long, getting on a couple of years now. Full custom 3D buildings, 3D models for all the buildings on the airport. High resolution textures and ground markings throughout the airport. Full implementation of the airport layout as it appeared at that time, custom airport vehicles, as well as custom and accurate runway signs and static airliners and GA aircraft throughout, including the Bristow helicopter search and rescue helicopters based there, which replaced the Royal Air Force Sea Kings and their rescue flights once they shut down there. It does not include animated ground traffic, which is also not found in the prepared V4 version either. So this one's available for $22 US, or your regional equivalent, available now from UK 2000. Alright, moving out of the X-Plane 11 world and moving into the ESP world, the guys over at Just Flight capped out a very busy week this week with a variety of product announcements by releasing their VC10 Professional Edition. So they'd had a VC10 release earlier, sort of in a more basic format. Well, this one is their professional edition of it, and is a full collection of the standard, super, and Royal Air Force variants of the VC-10, which is very much a venerable aircraft. So it was one of the last sort of airliners, one of the last big large aircraft designed by Vickers Armstrong's company before they sort of merged and sort of continued on the amalgamation of British aircraft manufacturers. And it was a very much an iconic site from the UK to many international destinations for a very long time, as well as being very iconic in its Royal Air Force liveries and colour schemes as well. So this rendition of the aircraft gives you 5 accurate variants. It gives the original standard VC-10, the Super VC-10, which has which had larger, more powerful engines, as well as a longer fuselage and additional fuel capacity. And then it gives you 3 Royal Air Force variants. So the C1, which is the original, which is the standard VC-10 fuselage with Super VC-10 wings. The K3 tanker, which was the Super VC-10 with a cargo deck door, which was a combination cargo and tanker variant, which allows for cargo in the main cabin, as well as refueling from both a centerline and wing-mounted refueling pods. And then finally the K4 tanker variant, which was a pure tanker variant. So yeah, it comes through here, very highly detailed rendition of the model, including a highly detailed 3D external model and 3D internal cockpit model, full implementation of all 4 flight crew positions, the captain, co-pilot, flight engineer and navigator, with all of their custom instrumentation and systems also fully modeled as well, especially the flight engineer station, fully modeled and full implementation of fuel, engine, electrical, anti-ice and hydraulic control systems throughout. It allows you to either do a full cold and dark start, or all the way through to a ready for takeoff state, one click as well. So it gives you a couple of options, as it were, in our Airfoil Labs guys. One click to do whatever state you would like. Custom coded fuel system, custom coded autopilot, which is unique to the aircraft, as well as full implementation and accurate renditions of the trim lever operations and tailplane movement preparation to these systems as well, and a whole slew of other stuff, including the Carousel 4A inertial navigation system. So this all predates the old GPS thing, that's for sure. Anyway. So yeah, this implementation of the rendition looks absolutely amazing. As I said, really been something. I'm not normally a huge tube liner pilot or interest, but I tell you what, the VC-10 is one that I have memories of, and especially the Royal Air Force variant versions. So it did intrigue me, and I'm kind of interested. I may yet pick it up. We'll see. This one's coming in available now from the Just Flight store or your favorite flight sim retailer, coming for $65 US, or your regional equivalent, available now. Continuing on with ESP releases this week, and this time a release for prepared V3 and V4 only. The guys over at Flightbeam Studios have come out with their long-awaited rendition of Wellington International Airport. First teased to us about I think almost a year ago. I'm pretty sure these guys teased this one to us. This includes a highly detailed rendition of the airport, as well as many know it as the gateway to Middle Earth. The configuration, so it comes the full implementation of high detailed imagery for the airport, the texturing of the airport buildings, as well as the ground surfacing, including their custom wet effects, tarmac surface changing material, which will change the texture of the surface based on the weather conditions. Full implementation of SODE jetways are included as well. Includes not only a full custom layout of the airport as it appears in 2018, as including all the accurate 3D models for all of the airport buildings, airport layout, airport taxiways included. It also includes the surroundings of the airport, including the whole entire Miramar Peninsula is also modeled as well. All the textures are natively 4K textures and includes custom static GA and GA aircraft and New Zealand airline aircraft as well. Some interiors of some of the terminals is also modeled as well as something again sort of a bit of an added part for that one as well, which is great to see from the guys at Flightbeam. As I said, this one is exclusively for prepared V3 and V4, so not available for the other ESP platforms at this time. Available for purchase directly from Flightbeam, coming in at $25 US, or your original equivalent, available now. In other prepared releases this week, this time from the guys at Mex High Flights. This is a prepared V4 exclusive. They've done their rendition of Merida International Airport in Mexico. So Merida is a, funnily enough, just the main airport servicing the Mexican city of Merida in the Yucatan Peninsula. So it's an area that I'm somewhat familiar with. The airport is both an international and domestic airport. This layout of the airport is as it appears at the end of 2018. Full implementation of all airport buildings, a full implementation of custom ground texturing and photoreal scenery for the airport and surrounding area. I must say that looking at the preview shots of this, they've done an incredibly good job on the ground texturing of the actual runways and taxiways. It's just something that really stood out for me for looking at these ones. As I said, I haven't got haven't got it myself, so I haven't actually been able to fly over it and inspect it in great detail. But looking at the publicity shots, they've done a really good job of that one. As I said, full implementation of all 3D objects of all buildings and a variety of custom 3D objects for the airport, including a variety of static objects as well as the land class of the near surrounding area as well. Full implementation of night dynamic lighting is for prepared V4 and fully compatible with GSX Orbit Space and FTX Global Vector as well. This one's coming in for about $20 US, available now from Sim Market. Continuing on with prepared V4 exclusive releases, the guys over at SimWings and Aerosoft continue their reboots of content for their the professional label has reared its ugly head again. So the guys over at Aerosoft and SimWings have rebooted their rendition of La Gomora Airport in the Canary Islands with their professional edition for bringing it into prepared V4. I remember reporting on this when this was launched. I think this first model about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, so let's come over into prepared V4, and this is part of their ongoing Canary Islands series to recreate all the airports for the Canary Islands area. This one does not serve as an international airport, funny enough, the La Gomora Airport, because it is one of the smallest in the actual Canary Islands chain. Therefore, it is a feeder sort of all these smaller turboprops coming in from the other islands. Now, this rendition includes high-resolution ground textures based on aerial imagery, including 25 to 50 centimeter per pixel, to 25 centimeter per pixel resolution for the airport, and 50 centimeter per pixel for the rest of the island, which has also been modeled in custom 5-meter terrain mesh resolution as well. All buildings, facilities in the airport area and the immediate surroundings have been modeled and with custom texturing and custom 3D models, as well as generic autogen and suitable autogen for the surrounding for the rest of the island are included as well. A full implementation of optimized 3D runway lighting, which will activate based on the time of day and weather conditions, including special PAPIs, apparently updated for version Prepare V4 update, which I don't recall seeing an update to PAPIs in the SDK, but apparently there has been. Anyway, also supports dynamic vehicle operations on the airport and the surroundings using their inbuilt option of AES Lite that ships with this thing, with this airport as well. So this one's coming in for your connection, coming in at $25 US, or your regional equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. And continuing on with Prepared V4 releases, this is actually an interesting one. So this is Olbia Costa Samalda Airport. That's a mouthful, sure. Anyway, so this is an airport in the northern island of Sardinia, which is just an island off the coast of mainland Italy. And a population of 60,000 is a very, very popular tourist and commercial hub for the region. What's interesting about this is that it's typically, in a way, it's a kind of a typical Orbix product. We're kind of blessed in the fact that you're looking at a very highly detailed airport representation of the airport, including how it appears in 2019, because they've added in a new runway and some new taxiways as well. Full custom photo reel, including 30 centimeter pixel of the entire of over 100 square kilometers of the island. Custom points of interest model for the surrounding towns, as well as numerous helipads are included, so there's something there for the rotor fans. Ferries, trains, and a whole heap of other stuff are included as well. What was interesting about this for me is that this is actually only the second product that I'm aware of from Orbix where it is not only supported for Prepared V4. Now the reason why I say that was that about when Prepared V4 had been out for maybe a month or two, and developers were starting to say that they were either going to charge extra for Prepared V4 versions of products, or they were going to start dropping the 32-bit application support. John Venema, the head of Orbix, famously came out and said that they would continue supporting the legacy ESP platforms, because although there is some additional work to bring things over to Prepared V4, and the 32-bit sims will lose some functionality, they can still get the core stuff and they'll still be able to sell it. The first challenge to that was with the True Earth series, where True Earth Netherlands was deployed for Prepared V4, and then after many months of them attempting to bring it over to the 32-bit platforms, they had to drop support, and they had reluctantly announced that they couldn't do it. So that was the first product that they couldn't do support for the 32-bit sims. But this is the first product that I'm aware of that they've released from the get-go which does not have 32-bit support, and I cannot see any intention for them to release it either. So if I am wrong, Orbix, please let me know, but my understanding is that this is this appears to be your first deliberate choice where you have no longer supporting 32-bit sims. So if anybody has any comments or observations on that, please let us know your thoughts. But as I said, I know a lot of people are sort of flocking towards Prepared V4, and the fact that it is a 64-bit sim, the only 64-bit from the ESP family left alive now, considering that the community killed the other one. But it's just an interesting point to raise, so there you go. Anyway, that's enough of an observation for me. If you are wanting to pick this one up, this one's available direct from the Orbis Direct Store, coming in for about $28 US, or your original equivalent, available now. Alright, moving out of the ESP platform and moving into the world of DCS for what is a bit of mixed news here. And I was in two minds of whether I reported this or not today. So, as is my tradition, I will nominate. I will sort of talk about something when it comes to early access, and then I will sort of mention again when it goes from early access to full release. Eagle Dynamics put out a statement this week announcing very proudly that the MiG-19 Farmer from Razbam and the F-14 Tomcat by Heatblur Simulations both exited early access this week and arrived in their full release version. Now, the MiG-19 from Razbam, I'm fairly okay with that happening, and I've confirmed from why I was a bit confused about this is the fact that the statement on the website said that, and yet the eShop on the DCS World website still shows them both in early access. But if you go into DCS World itself, you see that the MiG-19 has lost its early access tag. And going through that, I was aware that the only real issue it had left was a couple of tweaks that needed to happen to its flight model. So it looks like they've been deployed, so that's all fine. So fairly okay with that one being released and moving to a full release, because as I said, we had all the features. The Tomcat, however, is a different story. Now, the Tomcat's only been out 2 and a bit, maybe 3 weeks is all it's been out. And as I said, the web store still shows it as early access. The actual DCS World, if you open up DCS World itself, it still shows, the F-14 is still tagged as of the recording of this video. On the Sunday, it still showed early access tagged on the actually inside the launcher itself. But more to the point, though, there is a whole slew of features that were meant to come as part of early access that are not ready yet, that are flat out not here. If, for example, the F-14 from Heat Burst Simulations is supposed to include both the F-14A and B editions. We only have the B at the moment. It is supposed to include 2 campaigns, as well as a full slew of tutorials, none of which are actually implemented as yet. It also supposed to include a fully functional TARPS pod, which is also not available yet. So, I'm a little bit confused, and Eagle Dynamics, it would be really great if you could actually own some of your communication with your customer base and actually give some accurate communication for once, and let us know just exactly what's going on. And Heat Blur guys, you might want to get on top of this too, because if it was just a typo on the behalf of ED, somebody put the press release out wrong, that's fine, that's cool. Can somebody please let us know? But if you are leaving early access and you haven't delivered, but Heat Blur, if you're leaving early access and you haven't delivered all the stuff that you've promised us and you've promised the community as part of purchasing it, then I have some problems with that, and I have a lot of problems with that. And please refer folks back to some recent three Grumpy Simmers episodes about that. So anyway, so as I said, a little bit confusing about this. It seems that the only one we can confidently rely on has exited early access is the MiG-19 from Razbam, and the F-14 is very much up in the air about whether or not it's early access or full release or not. So I'll let you guys decide if you want to grab these. These are available now from the DCS World store. Well, I always have been for the last few weeks, and I'll let you guys decide about that now. Alright, moving out of flight sims and moving into the world of ground transportation, the guys over at OMSI 2 have come out with their latest one of their AI people packs. So this is the 6th pack we've seen in this series, which gives us more people for our bus tours of various places around the world. So we get over 70 new AI passenger variants, including clothing and body types, as well as getting multiple new, I believe it's, we get 4 new bus driver uniforms from various bus driving companies throughout, from Hamburg, Berlin, Bremen, and London Public Transport. So this comes through here. We've got a whole slew of language files in both German and English for professionally recorded audio for ticket names, and they can actually use the maps to actually order what ticket they are actually sort of destination want to go to. So full integration. So sorry about this. You get 10 new AI bodies, including 5 bus drivers, 5 passengers, with a slew of different clothing variants to give you 70 total different variants. Sorry about that. You get multiple different clothing and color variations go through. Can integrate into all commercially available as well as own OMSI maps, as well as 200 new language files to give you correctly spoken ticket names for Vienna 1, Vienna 2, Gladbeck, Metropole, Ruhr, Hamburg Day and Night, and Hamburg Hanfen City as well. So, a lot of stuff going on in that pack, coming in for a pretty reasonable price and pretty standard price of $7 US, available now on Steam. Now comes the part of the NovaWrap for this week that I was absolutely dreading. I did not want to do this part, and in a way I kind of want to end the video here, but I've always made the commitment to you guys that I will report the news even if it makes me want to vomit. Okay, we have 2 titles that have released on Steam this week, and the first one makes me absolutely it makes me ashamed to actually be an Australian right now, because it is called Aussie Battler Tanks. I've got nothing. It's 10 US dollars. It is possibly, reading the description makes my eyes bleed. It's all in capitals. It's not spell checked correctly. There are horrific spelling and grammatical errors throughout. I've just got nothing. I've got nothing. I really have nothing. It's apparently I can't. Anyway, apparently it's a physics-based system. Looking at the video and the screen and the video previews of it, there is no physics engine in there. You've got 3 game modes apparently. You've got 7 maps, 10 tanks, and it supports up to 12 players. Multiplayer only. It looks absolutely awful, like somebody vomited something in a game engine, straight up. So anyway, I can't. I can't. Okay, moving on. And the next one is okay, I know we all go for the retro games. Like, there's this big kick on at the moment from a lot of people. My inbox is flooded with the reports of these, retro indie titles coming out these days. So this is Super Realistic Autocross for 10 US dollars. This thing looks like something out of the 1980s. It's got blocky, like the first gen of 3DFX graphics cards. Like, back in the day when you used to have a 2D graphics card and a 3D graphics card back in those days. That's what this looks like. I've just got nothing. This title is the result of a Kickstarter, and they successfully raised over 5,000 US dollars to bring this title to life. It's released into early access at the moment. There are 3, I don't think there are 3 modes. It talks about learning what makes a real driver and how accurate this is. I'm like, really? Have you looked at this lately? From one of the vehicles is called the R26 Horizon. Pretty sure that's supposed to be an R34 Skyline, but sure. So nothing's been licensed, even though these are based on real. So these are real vehicles, but nothing's licensed, and none of them have correct names. Apparently, you can let your rage out by taking it out on killing traffic cones. Yeah, I've just got nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. And on that note, folks, I round out the NovaWrap this week, and I'm going to go shake my head in the corner. And thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.